Now, I want to tell you real quickly where we're headed and what we have to do in the years ahead. There's a stat that I came upon recently that really bothered me, and it was this number 40%. And the 40% represent those in our country who claim no religious affiliation whatsoever. They have no role in faith. They're not connected to a faith community. Some of these don't believe in God. Some of them don't know if they can believe in God. Most of them would say, I just don't care. I don't think faith has anything to offer. Now, I don't know. I don't have a story of before I came to know Jesus. I don't have that. I know many of you do. I can't imagine what it is like not to have someone to thank, not to have someone to seek forgiveness to. I don't know what it was like not to have someone to praise. I just can't imagine that. I can't imagine what it is like not to be in a community with people such as yourselves, who are with you, who celebrate, who mourn, who my kids run through these doors and they say hi to everyone. I don't know what that's like not to have that. But that number 40%, I can tell you that bothers me, because I think people need to know God. And I think they need to be a part of a faith community. Now, if the 40% number of people in America who claim no religious affiliation whatsoever isn't bothersome enough, this number should bother us more. And that's the number of people in Greene County, in our own backyard, who claim no religious affiliation. 64% of our neighbors, of our coworkers, of our friends, of our family don't have a part in an active faith community. And I think we need to help solve that. I think we need to fix that. And so this is what we want to do, is we want to be someone's first church. We want to be their first exposure experience to a faith community, to people who follow Jesus. Now, we may be their first church back in a while, or we may be their first church entirely. At the end of the 9 o'clock service, I had someone come up to me and they introduced me to someone. This is her first church, and she's been here for 5 weeks. And I said, I'm so glad you're here. Work through us with all our warts and problems, absolutely. You'll figure that out, but I'm so glad you're here. We want to be someone's first church, not simply their next church. Now, anyone who comes in, we celebrate, but we want to be someone's first church and not just leave them there. We want to lead them into spiritual maturity. We want them to know God. We want them to know how to follow God, and we want them to take that commission on for themselves, that they as well would go and make disciples of all nations. And so over the summer, we've had long discussions with our staff and leadership teams. And that number, that 64% number, that comes out to 104,100 people. 104,100 people in our own community who don't know God. As we said, what do we need to do? How can we make an impact? What impact can we make? And we in Unity came to this agreement. What if we reached 1%? I know it seems like a small number, but what if we, of that group, what if we committed that over the next 10 years, we were going to reach 1% of the people who didn't know God? And so over the next 10 years, this is what we want to do, is we want to baptize 1,041 people. Not because that's a big number, because we believe every single person matters, and every single person has value. And every single person needs to know that there is a God in heaven who loves them, who created them, and who was willing to die for them, and desperately wants a relationship with them. So that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed.